Hey, this is Jamey from Stonemaier Games, and today I'm talking about my favorite mechanism in the game Lizard Wizard, which is themed after players competing in a magical world where each player is a lizard. And you're actually acquiring more lizards throughout the game in largely a set collection aspect of the game. One little thing here with the theme that I really did enjoy, though, is that there are 7 different schools of magic in this game. I think they did a great job incorporating these themes, each of these different schools, into the different cards that you can get, the different spells you can cast, the different familiars, things like that. Actually, the familiars, I'll get to that in a second, they don't feel any different, but the spells in particular within each of these categories do feel a little different. I thought they did a great job of that. I love the thematic touch. The market in the game is also really cool. I'm stalling to get to my favorite mechanism, but the market uses a mechanism here we go, where it's kind of like Clans of Caledonia, if you've played that, where whenever you gain some resources, whenever you gain resources, the game will tell you to move up some of these tracks. And whenever you want to sell resources, you will sell them based on their current value. So if the token is right here for the Mandrake, if the Mandrake token is right here, or right here, let's say, and you have 2 Mandrakes to sell, you would sell them each for $5 and then move the token down 2 spaces, decreasing the sale price for other players later, or you later as well. However, my favorite mechanism of the game is how the familiars works. There are all these different familiars in the game. They cost a certain amount of mana up here, and they come from different schools of magic, as shown up here. And while the cost and schools of magic vary, the bottoms of the cards don't vary all that much. There might be some I think there's some slight differences based on how you stack these cards at the beginning of the game, but they're largely the same. But the thing that I really like about these in particular is when you gain a familiar card, you will immediately choose one of the 4 actions they give you. They give 1 of 4 special actions. And again, all these cards are essentially the same. You always have access to the same 4 actions. But the thing that I really like about this is that it gives you a variety of choices to make throughout the game when they may be more or less relevant. For example, at the beginning of the game, gold can be useful early on in the game, but it's also points at the end of the game. So if you want to wait to get these points until later, until you've built up a bit more of a tableau of alchemy cards, you might wait to take this benefit until you gain a familiar later in the game. Enter the dungeon is something that players might like to do or they might not like to do at all. There's a push your luck element to it. So I like when games give you the option of pushing your luck or not. You can just ignore that the whole game if you want. New research lets you gain a new spell for free. You don't get to cast it, but you get to gain it into your tableau ready to cast, into your hand ready to cast. So that's a viable thing to do throughout the game. And then you can just collect a bunch of resources and cast a spell if you want based on those resources you just gained. So I just really like that you have all these options built into each card. And they're giant cards. I don't know if you can tell in the camera how big these cards are, but these are really big cards, mostly for the art. But I like the variability down here. The designer could have done something where they tried to give each familiar a unique ability. Maybe that would have been cool. But they probably would have then needed to, I think Glenn Drover's the designer, he would have needed to then give each familiar a few different abilities, one that worked well early in the game, one that worked well late. Abilities are tough to balance for different timings of the game and different circumstances. So I like that they just built all 4 options into every familiar, and you have those choices whenever you gain a familiar. So yeah, just the option variability within each familiar card. I really like that. And I like that it's printed on the card itself. You don't need to remember what those things are. It's printed on every card. You can just look at the card and figure out which of the 4 options you want to choose at that moment. So yeah, that is my favorite mechanism of Lizard Wizard. I'd love to hear what you think in the comments below. And no, I haven't played Raccoon Tycoon, which is also from the publisher. But if you want to share your favorite mechanism in that game or Lizard Wizard, let me know in the comments below. Thanks.